we have a terrible Category 5 storm front of hypocrisy, lies, and BS heading toward America in the wake of Donald Trump's declaring that DACCA, the deferred, what is it, the deferred something or other, right?
For children of aliens?
I forget. But anyway, it's the thing that said that illegals could stay here if they had been if they had come over, I think, at the age of 16 and were no older than 31 or 36. What's it called?
Deferred action for childhood arrivals.
Deferred action for childhood arrivals. So he said in 6 months, this thing is gone and Congress has got to do something about it. So get cracking, basically. And oh my God, the reaction. First of all, the first guy who kind of went against Trump was Trump himself. I mean, this is the problem with supporting. Like, I really think this is the right thing to do. It was wrong of Obama to put this thing in action. But Trump tweets out, he says, Congress now has 6 months to legalize DACA, something the Obama administration was unable to do. And if they can't, I will revisit this issue. That's hardly like the biggest threat in the world, you know, like I will revisit this issue. It's like he himself is against. So, you know, and he says, you know, this is something people keep saying he promised to get rid of DACA. This was a big campaign promise. But even during the campaign, he was kind of mealy-mouthed about it. He was saying, oh, we'll work with them. They have to go, but we'll work with them. And now he's just saying he loves them. Have we got the Trump cut? Yeah, cut number 1.
Well, I have a great heart for the folks we're talking about, a great love for them. And people think in terms of children, but they're really young adults. I have a love for these people, and hopefully now Congress will be able to help them and do it properly. And I can tell you, in speaking to members of Congress, they want to be able to do something and do it right. And really, we have no choice. We have to be able to do something. And I think it's going to work out very well. And long term, it's going to be the right solution.
So basically, he's saying this is Congress's job to pass laws, pass a law, or shut up, basically. And even Paul Ryan started out, oh, this is the wrong thing to do. Today it was like, this is the right thing to do. It's whatever people want, that's what I'm saying now. I'm Paul Ryan, and whatever you like, that's who I am. You know, it's like, this is our level of government. You know, government and the news has become so stupid lately. I mean, let's look at this for a minute. Oh, Barack Obama, remember him? He was somebody once, right? He used to do something. It's hard to remember what he did because his legacy is now a smoking ash heap on the garbage dump of history, you know, so it's hard to remember what it was exactly that Barack Obama did for a living. But now he unleashes on Facebook on Trump. Listen to this. To target these young people is wrong because they have done nothing wrong. It is self-defeating because they want to start new businesses, staff our labs, serve in our military, and otherwise contribute to the country we love. And it is cruel. It is cruel. What if our kid's science teacher or our friendly neighbor turns out to be a dreamer? Let's be clear. The action today isn't required legally. It's a political decision and a moral question. But I just want to remember history. That's me. Wait, I want to say, I just want to remember history. He says this is a political decision, but it's a moral question. But Klavan, I want to remember history. I just put a note underneath that. Let's remember how Barack Obama played this, okay? Let's talk about politics for a minute. Here's Barack Obama in 2005, when he still hasn't learned that he can do anything he wants and get away with it. Here he is, knowing that the country is sick and tired of having people pour over their borders, having the rule of law scoffed at, having people just swarm in, criminals sometimes coming in with no government doing absolutely nothing. Here's Barack Obama in 2005. This is cut 4.
We all agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Suddenly, he's making a distinction between illegal immigrants, people who come in illegally, which is against the law, that's why they call it illegal immigrants, and people who come in legally, who are called immigrants, who we always welcome in this country and have since it began. Okay, so he's making a distinction there. Okay, now it's 2011. Re-election time is coming up. Suddenly he's being shouted at by Latinos, and he realizes this is a big part of the leftist policy is bring these guys in so that they vote Democrats. And all of a sudden he's saying to them, they're shouting at him every time he makes a speech, let us in, let us in. You're the president. Right? The president passes laws. No, 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 Barack Obama, Mr. Constitution explains. Dr. Constitution explains that he just can't do that.
Sometimes when I talk to immigration advocates, they wish I could just bypass Congress and change the law myself. But that's not how democracy works.
So he can't do it. And he must have said this 20 times. He cannot give people amnesty just by executive order. That's not how democracy works. It's not Constitution. I'm trying to restore the rule of law. Then it's 2012. Okay. Then he's running for re-election, and he comes up with, the guy was a master politician. I mean, when I go back and look at some of Obama's tapes, he was a master politician. He knows that there is a strong anti-illegal immigration contingent in the Republican Party. And he knows that if he finds the right people who were brought over, it was no fault of their own, they came over without their parents, they're under 16, whatever, and they're legal. There's about 800,000 of them. They're legal. They have a job. They haven't done anything wrong. If he does an executive order giving them essentially amnesty for 2 years, the Republican base is going to start screaming, putting the Republican politicians in a position where they have to say, no, we reject these children. We cast them out into the exterior darkness where there is great weeping and gnashing of teeth. We are cold-hearted Republicans. He's setting them up. It was a beautiful setup. But even so, he knew he couldn't do it because it was an unpopular move to do it by executive order. So he assured everybody, we're talking 2012, he assured everybody that it was just a temporary measure.
Let's be clear. This is not amnesty. This is not immunity. This is not a path to citizenship. It's not a permanent fix. This is a temporary stopgap measure that lets us focus our resources wisely while giving a degree of relief and hope to talented, driven, patriotic young people. It is the right thing to do. Excuse me, sir. It's not time for questions, sir. Not while I'm speaking. Precisely because this is temporary, Congress needs to act. There's still time for Congress to pass the DREAM Act this year because these kids deserve to plan their lives in more than 2-year increments. And we still need to pass comprehensive immigration reform that addresses our 21st century economic and security needs.
Okay, so that was Faraj O'Hara. I can never remember the guy's name because, now that his legacy is just like a sort of wisp of smoke blowing away on the winds of Donald Trump, it's hard to remember what the name of our last president even was. But now he's saying it's temporary, stopgap measure, temporary. Now Trump gets rid of it and says Congress has got to pass a law. And now Obama writes, ultimately, this is about basic decency. This is about whether we are a people who kick hopeful young strivers out of America or whether we treat them the way we'd want our own kids to be treated. It's about who we are as a people and who we want to be. So it goes from a stopgap measure to the very measure of who we are as a people. It's a temporary thing. Suddenly, it's who we are as a people. I mean, do Democrat voters ever get tired of being played? Do they ever get tired of being emotionally, battered around with this kind of garbage and this hypocrisy? And accusing Donald Trump of being political when Trump has just stumbled into this beehive because the polls show that while people were against the way Obama did this, nobody wants to throw people out of the country. I mean, people are doing a job. They kind of want to have a path to citizenship, basically, obviously more on the left than on the right. But still, even on the right, these are not the people that they're concentrating on. They're concentrating on the bad guys who creep in and who we don't have any control over.